Good afternoon. Ralph E. Hartman, write-in candidate for Congress here on the corner of Palmer Ranch Boulevard and Geneva Square. I hope everyone got through the hurricane all right. It's a beautiful day other than the damage that was left behind by the hurricane. Nice cool wind out here today. I spent the hurricane in the shelter of Gulfgate Elementary School. I'd been there a couple of times before, and there was some relative commenting by others who had been there before also. I think the most significant subject was concern about there being so many fewer people than before. I remember back during Irma, for example, they say, I didn't know how crowded it had been back then, but really both floors, all the rooms and the halls was very crowded. It was a very full facility back during that storm. And I heard somebody talking about it while I was in the shelter yesterday, and they said that the total number of persons there this time was up around about 320, whereas during Hurricane Irma is what I think they were quoting. They might have quoted about Charlie. I was to that shelter, to the same shelter during Hurricane Charlie also, but that was years before. During Irma, that there was about 3,000 people. So they're talking about 90% drop, only 10% attendance to the shelter this time compared to the previous hurricane. So anyway, there was some worry about that. You know how rumors are, to get around thinking, worry people that people had been victimized secretly somehow, even though there's still so many people driving around and people have their phones and everything, and mostly everyone is actually all right. Some like to still spread rumoring about rapture. But I think what it turns out to be, and some others had commented the same, is that there is a consensus among the people against mandatory evacuations. I think that sometimes, certainly, safety is a predominant concern, but I think sometimes there's just a little bit too much emphasis before the hurricanes. Some people again commented that there is some ridicule said by people of other nations about Americans evacuating to shelters when most people have very sturdy houses and apartments. I think it's another of the consensus I heard again, not a consensus, but a lot of commenting that I heard indicated that the reason that there weren't so many people in the shelter is people have been to shelters before, and they're mostly wishing that they can just stay in their homes through the storms. And I think maybe there should be some reviewing of the mandatory evacuation requirements. Certainly against the storm surge dangers, that the areas exactly along the coastline should be evacuated, even if people wanted to have hurricane parties there or not, whether they wanted to be there or not. But further inland, I think that there should be some more review about the matter to allow people to allow optional evacuation. That people, if they want to stay behind in their own homes, should be able to just stay behind in their own homes, and hopefully everyone would continue to be all right. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention it. The facility of Gulfgate Elementary School is a very nice, comfortable place. Where I was, the room I was, even though it was an outside room with windows to the outside, if you hadn't known that there was a hurricane, you wouldn't have even noticed it, except for looking out the window and seeing the wind. There wasn't much of any sound of rain on the roof. It was just a very quiet, calm kind of experience. So there were children there, of course, young mothers with their children, and a lot of friendly commenting. The power went off. I forget when it was. I think it was at about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and for some reason, I'm kind of disappointed. People were disappointed about it, including myself, that there was a lack of emergency lighting. All of the halls of the school are equipped with emergency lights that are supposed to turn off in the event of a power failure, and each room also has a battery-powered emergency light that is supposed to activate with a lack of power. But for whatever reason, all the rooms I saw that the lights didn't work, and the main hall, a couple of the main halls had emergency lighting that was very dim, and then the lights were off again. And I think what needs to be done is that the fire department needs to review their emergency lighting in the shelters to make sure that it works. So anyway, other than that, there was a lot of friendly volunteer staff. They served 3 meals each day like they had before. They also included some children helping them, and hope they all had a good time of it. It's always nice when people get together in emergencies to help comfort each other. Some people get kind of anxious about kind of worried about storms, as people should be concerned. Of course, the talk of the storm was going to be really bad, and I'm afraid that a lot of people did experience some severe damage south of here. As I walked out for the storm, I think just like everyone else has seen, there's some fallen trees, and there's a lot of branches down, and fences, sections of fences down. But mostly, I guess mostly people got through it all right without too much damage. And anyway, the only detail I wanted to mention was about what I believe is probably a consensus to review the evacuation requirement and to make sure that emergency lighting works in the facilities. Hope everyone's having a good day. Thanks for your consideration.